Motherfucking power went out. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm trying to trick this AGC into doing something here. 5. Everything's coming back online now. Freaking lost power.
By the way, thanks for that screenshot of when my cell phone went off. We got internet and a regular phone system back and all that stuff. So put my cell phone away. It's quite interesting to see those side views.
Hey, freaking lost power.
I wonder where you went. Yeah, I saw the pattern when your chime went off. It just made me laugh because there's such an interesting pattern. I figured you would get a kick out of seeing that. Yeah, those
We lost power, guys.
plays that you get on STL radios really quite spectacular. Especially when you see all the side bands, you see high frequency energy, you see any kind of problems if you hit baseline and all that. Instant reward. And that Anon is performing very well. I might come into a Flex 5000, much older radio that I may put on the other back shop. Just to play around with some. But I pretty much stick with the 4400 originals. Old crap that drives the line. Anyway, the photo. Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I was getting consulted in the other room. My wife's having a hard time getting something to stream over the media system. Too many moving parts here sometimes.
Nick, you missed it before. I was on the air with a vector signal generator. Hold on, give me a minute. I'll raise my power up in a minute here. W2BTK. I lost power over here, Nick.
So you on generator? Is that why you low and see? I'm hearing you, but there's a lot of static from some crashes, static crashes.
No, we got the power back. It's a strict 7-minute warm-up time on the filaments on the amplifier. So give me a couple more minutes.
so I think I got a few minutes.
Yeah, you're 20 to 30 over up here, Nick, to New Hampshire, so no problem. But the band is horrible, so it's not just you. The crash is just getting worse and worse. I think I'm gonna make my exit probably in just a few minutes here. Probably about good timing on that, I would say.
All right, we're back.
You certainly are, Stanley.
Well, Chris is jumping out of here, but Nick, I was saying a minute ago, you missed it before. I was on the air with a Rohde & Schwarz vector signal generator as an exciter, and you're talking about cool stuff in the spectrum. That I can print pictures and words and things in the waterfall display with that. If I send it the correct INQ information, with audio files I can make on my computer. It'll draw smiley faces or say CQ 75 meter W2 BTK right there in the waterfall spectrum display. It's pretty neat. It just sounds like a bunch of digital noise when I'm transmitting it, but you can see, in the waterfall it says stuff. But I just switched over to the Viking 2 before you got on.
Oh, I got you. Okay, yeah, Rohde & Schwarz makes some really great stuff. I wonder where you got that. Something that was available surplus, or you borrowed it?
A friend of mine had a couple of them kicking around, and he caught a conversation of mine on 3885 about how you would how you do basically that, like draw pictures and stuff in the waterfall. And he's like, well, here, I'll give you an old Rohde & Schwarz I got sitting around and try to show you the ropes. So he let me borrow the thing, and I've just been running it and having a great time.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, fun stuff. Did a lot of stuff at work, but I didn't have the opportunity to play with it that way because it was, the pressure of broadcasting and the equipment was, put in a rack and put into service. So, we had KVMs that ran them, so we had full access with the computer, but too busy staying on the air.
Yeah, well, if you do get your hands on one, they make pretty much perfect AM. You can just make normal AM if you feed the same audio signal into the INQ, and then it's just regular old AM. But if you start sending differing signals to the INQ, you can make basically any complex waveform you need to. But I'm sure you know how quadrature works. Signals in quadrature. It's basically two AM signals beating against each other. And you can do independent sideband with this thing. It's all about the math. Like, you use a program called MATLAB to generate audio files. You could do the pictures in the waterfall spectrum or make basically any mode you want. Unlimited bandwidth, limited by, I have a 192 kilohertz sound card, so I can be about 96K wide, limited only by the audio I feed to it. And, the bandwidth of the amplifier stages behind it and my antenna and this and that. But you can basically do anything from DC to 3.3 gigahertz.
Fun stuff. Yeah, quadrature. They get the I signal and the Q signal 90 degrees separated and different bandwidth. That's the whole principle of the old NTSC color was transmitted back in the days of analog television. Had an I and a Q signal. And they put all the colors that were not sensitive to the human eye, like purples and dark magenta and stuff like that. That went into the Q channel. And because that had a bandpass filter. Well, actually a low-pass filter. Went down to 1.5 megahertz. And from 1.5 to 3.5 megahertz was the I signal. So Q was and when they was algebraically mixed in a multiplexer, that's how we were able to get all those colors. So there's an application in video, which of course is, goes out to About at that time, years ago, about 4.5 megahertz with the sidebands. Now it's all digital, much easier. And I've also operated with INQ for transmitters and receivers. I use as studio to transmitter links and transmitter to studio links for paths to remote transmitters like at 34th Street. We're up on 49th Street, that kind of stuff. Fun stuff. There's a lot you can do. You really spindle and mutilate the curve.
Yeah, exactly. Man, yeah, I didn't realize that they had that much stuff doing. I mean, I know all these SDR transceivers that are coming out, they're all based on IQ modulation. I guess there's way more stuff than I know about using that technology. It's been around for a long time too, I guess. But I'm just getting my feet wet with it, and like you said, it's all math to generate those I and Q signals, and if you feed the right ones into it, you can do just about anything.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think. I think they were an NTSC proposal. They had two color systems back in the day, CBS and the RCA color system, which of course ran NBC. And that eventually went out. The CBS system was a rotating synchronized color wheel in front of the tube, It worked quite well. But the NTSC system went out because of the fact that it was compatible with monochrome, black and white. You got a good rendering and grayscale of a color picture. And let's see, they were experimenting with that in 1948. They started really in serious research between Camden, New Jersey, and test transmissions around 1950. And the first real NTSC signal, which used the I and Q principle, where you would multiplex the I and Q to put it together with the carrier to get the color signal in analog days, was perhaps about 1954. And in 55, they were selling television sets, color television set with 500,000 tubes in it. The old RCA CT4A chassis. It was like $1,200, and it wasn't that many color programs. But that's an IQ system. That system's been around for a long time. I'm sure the I and Q, in other words, in phase and quadrature, 90-degree shift type modulation, has been around. I think they even used it in telephone systems back, Western Electric days. There's not too much basic application, transmitting a 358 subcarrier, megahertz subcarrier, with the I and Q signals in there, and they get muxed and then demuxed at the receiver. So that was a practical application in the old analog color TV. That's what it uses.
Well, see, you learn something new every day. That's pretty wild. I thought this was like relatively new stuff, and there you go. It's been around since the 50s. I've been using it for TV. Oh, that's just really cool. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just starting to catch on in the amateur radio world with all the flexes and anons and things like that being based on that, making the different modes with, signals in quadrature, just creating a complex waveform, whatever you need. But it's all new to me. That's the fun thing about it. See, I'm just discovering it and the crazy stuff you can do with it. I've had two carriers simultaneously, one on 3875, one on 3885, and I'm modulating both of them with, certain IQ information. You can do that. It's like, I don't know, it's like magic to me. It's still magic.
Well, as long as it keeps you amused and you're playing around with it, you'll learn. And And yeah, well, in the digital domain, it's easier, much easier to do this stuff. I mean, we had to do that with RL and C filters. So we had to watch when we did it with the IQCs that they were probably, designed that you would get what you want in the way of the I signal at 0 phase and the Q signal at 90 degrees. And that's tough to do because you have to do it with lump time. We'll give you time constant. The time constant that you're using the circuit RL and C. So every time you introduce RL, L or C, you get a phase shift. So you wanted to make sure that the phase shift stays 90 degrees away for the Q signal in the pass band that you want to, that you're interested in fluxing for the Q side. The I signal, even that has a filter on it because it has a high pass filter, and that was made out of RL and C. And you get into some really fancy filter designs. And this is before this is done with vacuum tubes, so it's mostly passive stuff, and then getting the gain back. And many times you had to shift phase, these little phase networks hidden in plate circuits and whatnot, just to make sure you are sure that the Q signal is 90 degrees away from the I signal. It's tough. Digital, it's easy. It's numbers.
Yeah, easy. Well, it's all pretty far over my head as of now, and imagining doing it with, filters and tubes and crap like that. I mean, that's just it's some really smart guys coming up with that crap, I tell you what. But I don't really have to worry about all that. Just understanding the math is hard enough for me. W2BTK.
Hey guys, I'm going to roll out of here and go do a little TV time. The signals are coming up though, so even with all the static crashes, the two of you are just getting so I think the band is starting to warm up. But great to hear you in here, Nick. Always good to hear you, Bill. And we'll catch you guys later. I'll be back on tomorrow. KC2RGW73.
Okay, Chris. Yeah, I got to get out of here too. I have to dinner call. Good to hear you, Bill, and I figured I'd get in here and say hello. And I wanted to thank you, Bill, for the picture. It was really cool. We'll see you all later. Have a good night. And stay cool. Okay, anyway, KG2IR is clearing out.
All right, Chris. All right, Nick. It was a pleasure talking to you guys. Nick with the late night appearance. That's not the usual, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, band definitely seems like it's settling down and starting to normalize a little bit. But we'll see if anybody pops in here. Oh, and Nick, I put that stuff up on YouTube of you operating out of your stationary mobile there, with the great description of what you were doing and everything. You got the picture up there, so that's on my YouTube page. The channel's called 631NJ, but I believe you can get there by typing youtube.com/channel/amateur radio, and it should come up. You search through the videos there, but that's up there. Got a good amount of views too, so it's making the rounds. So all right, guys, you guys enjoy. Chris, your TV time. Nick, have a nice dinner, and I'll be listening out here. W2BTK on the Viking 2.
Yeah, that Viking, I meant to tell you, that Viking flute sounds really good too. Yeah, I saw the pictures. I forgot. I think Dave W2BW sent me the link, and I think I even have it. I might have it bookmarked. I'm not sure. I probably do. But there's an old buzzard standing at the back end of the truck there, making a fool out of myself in the driveway. People going by saying, "What's this guy talking at the back of the truck?" See you later, Bill. Great job. And take care of it, Chris. KG2IR shutting down.
you go. Bunch of static. See some carriers in there. I believe that's the mullet net. The Florida mullet net, probably. I think they do Tuesdays and Thursdays, so. I don't know, guys. That sucked before. We lost power over here for about 5 or 6 minutes. That's why the everything went down the stream, my transmitters, everything. Poof, just like that. But we're back. It's really, oh, somebody on there testing or whistling. Pretty decent signal. See some signals on 3875. Tuning up. I think maybe they're another dead carrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, test.
Oh, it's Brett.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, test.
K1 KBW 3885 AM.
Give him big.
Well, I guess we know who was QRMing us before.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Hello. That's weird. I don't know why that does that. Maybe it's RF.
Indeed. Is it working? You've got RF in my receiver there, Brett.
Yeah, hello, Billy. Yeah, it's working. The thing is, I have a couple of different audio setups here. And I got the dynamic mic with the modern Behringer Ultra Voice thing. But I also have a homebrew mic preamp, compressor, tone control kind of thing. And I got that going into the DIY. So each microphone has a push-to-talk button on it, but if I use the one on the D104, I get this. And if I use the one that's on the dynamic mic, they're kind of bridged together, I don't get the hum. Well, let me check something here. Hold on. Let me check where all this push-to-talk stuff goes together. A second. It's not RF. Nope. Nope. Let me do that. So it's just 12 volts DC, but why'd that come under? But why is it introducing hum? And I put some clamp-on ferrites on there, and that didn't make a difference. Hold on. Move the cord around. That doesn't do anything. Its phase doesn't do anything. I don't know. It's a mystery. What's up? What's going on the big 75?
Oh, not much. I switched myself back into boat anchor mode. Was running my new exciter before. I finally got that whole quadrature modulated crap up and running with the vector signal generator. Was having fun with that thing, but I said, whatever, I'm gonna go use my boat anchor now.
I think I heard it on there. What was the problem?
No, there was no problem at all. Just doing something a little different. It sits right next to me here, and it's kind of noisy, so it's actually very pleasant to not have it on right now. Hold on, let me make a couple of adjustments here. W2BTK.
Yeah, I was plugging my lamp back in. Let me go back to this other stuff. Turn that off. Ooh. See why I don't like that stuff. Doesn't like loud noises. Oh, no wonder. Yeah, I'm surprised that worked. I thought I'd blow it off. You like the boat anchor stuff, huh? I like boat anchor stuff if I build it. Not so much if I didn't. Because if I didn't build it, it tends to be hard to work on.
19, so they're not even open. They're not paying any.
Due to age, I guess I wouldn't have wanted anything. And maybe sometimes marginal components. If you use the components that are twice as big as it needs to be, at least, they usually stay working. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt. The power difference there's a difference in power between 80 and 40 meters, about 50 watts. So, what's up with that? W2 BTK NTDTS.
I'm trying to get myself on frequency here. It's hard with the 1940s VFO, you know. Maybe if I do this, it'll help, but probably not. Yeah. The band really sucked before, man. I'm telling you, it was pretty crappy stuff. Signals were low. Like lightning crashes and crappiness, but it seems like things are starting to come around now. It's decent. Still trying to make some adjustments here. See if I can't get this boat anchor dialed in to kind of how I want it, but that might be a little bit better. I don't know. Bring a little bit of that back in there. Yeah, there we go. So things should be working now.
Well, you're averaging like 30 over. And I think the noise level 7 with static crashes that are a 9 or maybe a little bit more than that, but you're doing okay. So the boat anchors, I was looking at, I had a little QSO with somebody on 40 meters last night. 9LCM, this guy John in Indiana, and he was running a Kenwood into one of those RF kit amplifiers, and I know Frank W2FDR has told me about his, and I looked at him again online, a new version, and man oh Chevette, that's a pretty nice amplifier. $4,500. As soon as I hit the lottery, I'm picking one up, and I'm having 220 wired in the shack. Antenna tuner built in, power supply built in, you know, display for control it over the internet, which I really care about, but that seems like a pretty fun toy to play with. No tune, just I guess you gotta set the antenna tuner and forget all about it. Put all your favorite frequencies in there, and just you know, when you go there, we'll figure it out. We'll be running 300 watts carrier AM with no fuss, no muss, and no loud fan. Seems pretty cool. Flex into that or something and transmit perfectly square waves for all the people that really enjoy square waves. W2 BTK into DTS.
Yeah, speaking of square waves, let me try something here. I got the 3-diode ultra modulator tapped a little bit differently now. Let's see, what are we doing for positive modulation? Let's see if we can't throw a little bit more audio on the carrier there. Yeah, there we go. That should be nice. How's that? It probably sounds like ass. I've got a crap ton of just a crap ton of positive modulation now, but we'll see how that sounds. I don't know. It's doing seems to be doing okay. W2 BTK running a radio here. Let me try this too. Hold on. That should be pretty good right there. All right, I think I got things dialed in now, Brett. W2 BTK, doing a little testing on the old boat anchor here, the Johnson Viking 2, with a little help from my friend iMac.
Yeah, it doesn't sound bad. Right at the end, it sounded a little bit more funky, but I was looking at it on the scope. Yeah, you got plenty of positive modulation, but that doesn't really. I don't really think that helps a lot. It just probably introduces a lot more distortion in a lot of people's receivers. I compared the Flex to the the homebrew, and it really wasn't too much of a difference. But there's, you know, selective fading and all. But I know I can see on the pan adapter you're probably at least let's see. Probably about 40 kilohertz wide at times. You know, you got those peaks. And when I ran that circuit, I still have that built into one of my transmitters. The voltage part of it. You know, I had a variac on a power supply, so you could set the minimum, you know, to keep a live voltage on it. NCL, and I had a voltage and current meter, and I still have that built in, but I didn't have the circuit on the RF deck because, at least in my case, I use those 14 kV 1 amp brick diodes, and now I got reports I was like really, really wide, and I don't think those things were reacting fast enough to the high frequencies, and letting the transmitter do all kinds of weird things when I did the over-modulation thing. But I don't know if that was it or something else, or people just had bad receivers or what, but I kind of scrapped that. And there's some people that say, you know, run a big carrier with a little less modulation and have it sound real clean and everything. So I guess there isn't really any wrong way to do it, but it looked like it was working. I wonder what you're doing it at a lower level. I was doing it, you know, at the high power plate modulated transmitter. You know, I was doing it at the 2,000 volt level. So, you know, that was really high voltages and everything, and I guess you're doing it at the 800 volt level, which might be a little easier, but I wonder what diodes you're using. You know, if they're fast diodes or regular diodes, and I wonder if anybody's did any kind of analysis on exactly what the ideal diode characteristic would be. Because, you know, when they first came out with that, they used vacuum tube rectifiers. I think they used, I don't know if they were mercury vapors or just, you know, there was an old QST article, and I don't remember if it was, mercury vapors or vacuum rectifiers, but they were tubes. And the mercury vapor, you know, think of that, like maybe 866s or something, you know, like lighting up and going when you do it. That would be pretty badass. To BTK into DTS.
Yeah, all right. Well, I should be pretty decently narrow now. I'm limiting the bandwidth quite a bit, but before, I didn't have any audio bandwidth limiting like that. So now I should be back out to wherever the hell I was before. But as far as diodes that I'm using for this, I'm using they're Schottky diodes, so they're very fast, and I'm just using a crap load of them in series. So I got off of Mouser these, well, I guess they're about 1 kilovolt rated Schottky diodes, and I think I have like 6 or 8 of them in series to represent each diode in the circuit. But yeah, those the tube version is supposed to be very, very, very clean, but here, I'll put my audio bandwidth limiting back in, so that's limited down to something reasonable. I see a little bit of overshoot, but it is what it is, so then this is how I was running it before, so it's alright, it'll do. It's no big deal, you know. So, just the kind of thing that happens out here on 75 meters, but no, I use Keep Alive circuit. Whoa! Giant from Jax. Dang, man. Gifting those subs. Man. Oh, that was Nick. Wow. Hey, Brett, there really taking care of me here in the old Twitch chat. I'm live streaming right now. Got my buddy Nick. He's giving people gift subscriptions and stuff like that. Good stuff. Pretty cool. But yeah, like I was saying, I don't use the Keep Alive circuit. It's just a straight up negative peak limiter, you know. Whoa! Oh, we got followers too now. A boatload of pirates. Who's that? Oh my goodness. Hey, it's really popping off over here, Brett, in the Twitch chat. You gotta come check this out, man. It's twitch.tv/amateur radio live. I don't know if you have a computer in the shack, but it's a lot of fun. You can see yourself on my Pan adapter. You can hear your audio as demodulated by my receiver. So it's, for nothing else, it's good for that. But there's some pretty cool people in here as well. W2BTK.
Yeah, I don't really care about that kind of stuff. I guess that's, you know, what the kids are into
Hey,
these
Nick,
days.
man, thanks for the sub,
The internet.
gifted sub, man, and Mr. Boats, welcome to the
Oh,
party.
that's cool. You're getting a kick
Boatload
out
of
of it. And you
pirates.
got, yeah, something going on. I guess it advertises ham radio a little bit. Because, you know, that stuff is dying quickly. Dying quickly. So, Schottky diode, huh? I don't know what the characteristics of those are, but, I don't know. I have a tendency to think that the ultramodulation 3 diode circuit is effective, but it is not clean. But I, you know, have to look at it scientifically, because I see you, even with the bandwidth limiting, it's on peaks it seems to go out, but I'm just looking at it on a Flex 5000 at the other end.
Damn,
so,
Nick,
I
yo,
don't
thanks,
know,
man. You
know,
don't have
what
to
the
do
actual,
that. Come on, man.
You know, test equipment would show at the transmitter site. And you can't trust that things aren't being overloaded or something. Although I think the Flex 5000 is actually fairly good. It's somewhat decently up on the Sherwood list, and I guess the big drawback is kind of phase noise in the clock stuff, but that's just background noise, background hiss. So I don't know if you pay much attention to receivers, but you know, you get something with a really low phase noise, it tends to be a really quiet receiver, and you can hear the weak ones. Anyway, I haven't done the 3 diode circuit. I can run the screen modulator stuff, and I can do the same thing. I can get 200% positive modulation, but it just sounds crappy in a lot of receivers. This DIY rig is doing 80%, 85% positive, 100% negative, according to the mod monitor. And on the scope, let me sort of calibrate it. Yay. I don't know. It kind of looks like it gets up to 100% positive, but yay. Yeah, it looks like it does. Works good enough for me. You know, if you turn the carrier up and turn the modulation down to like 100%, you probably be cleaner sounding and even stronger. Maybe. Might be harder on the amp though. W2BTK into DTS.
Yeah, well, the way that I have this thing set up right now is really stupid. I mean, I'm not surprised at all that I've got some overshoot and this and that, but I run this all the time, you know, and if you don't abuse it, it's just fine, but I'm abusing it right now. So, you know, this is... In fact, hold on, I'm going to want to go turn it up a little bit more, if you have an S meter there, I'd be interested to know what the uptick is between my unmodulated carrier and then when I modulate. Yay, hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. That's what they say on the CB when they're testing stuff. Hello. But yeah, no, it's as clean as you want it to be, you know, and I've got the thing tapped way up. I'm going to actually go tap it up a little bit more. Let's see if we can get to 250%.
Yeah, I'm looking at two S meters when you were doing that. The S meter on the Flex and the S meter on the Homebrew. And how do I have this? Oh, I got the AGC set medium. And I wasn't seeing a whole lot, but it's QSB and all that, and yay, I don't know. Yay. Now, power definitely goes up, but the S meter is a more average type thing. Let me see. I'm going to turn my power down a little bit. Alright, I turned the power down about 250. And yay, still only get 90%. It doesn't work as well on 80 meters as it does on 40 meters. So, I don't know. But pushing the limits, or maybe it'll blow something up. Smoke, flames, and fire. W2 BTK into DTS.
Well, I sure hope not. Wow, that's a lot of, that sure is a lot of, peak power. That's interesting. It's very interesting what's going on here now. I could definitely put some more audio on the carrier. Let's see. Okay, that's about as much as I can do. Let me go lower my carrier a little bit. Try to get, hello. That should be, I don't know, that's about as filthy as it would ever be. Let me turn off the bandwidth limiting, see what happens. So, alright, so we'll turn off the bandwidth limiting now and see, what there is to see. God, how wide am I right now, Brett? That's got to be pretty stupid stuff right there. I don't know. I don't even understand how this could be. But definitely doing stupid stuff now with this 3 diodes. 3 diodes and some plate modulation into an amplifier. It's probably getting nice and hot. So, God, it looks filthy on this end. I can't even imagine on your end. Look at me, W2 BTK with silly amounts of modulation.
Yeah, you're going down to 3860. Probably up to 3895 or something, but there's static crashes and there's somebody on 85, but yeah, you're and it sounds pretty crappy. It sounds quite crappy. You should fire up the screen modulated transmitter and join you and see how crappy we can get AM to sound.
Yeah, and I haven't even started jacking up my highs yet. So that's what the highs jacked up. I got some more it's grabbing a whole crap load of gain reduction, especially on the S's and T's. That's just some stupid stuff right there, but whatever. The peak reading watt meter is saying that what you're doing is silly, and nobody should run their equipment like this, ever. But a lot of people do every single time that they're on. It's silly. Silly stuff, I tell you. So that's all I have to say about that. W2BTK, speaking the truth.
And good evening.
Oh, is it a political protest?
Hey, George, yeah, I'm protesting. Well, I'm rioting right now.
Hello, George. All right, I'm gonna put the screen modulated transmitter on, see what that does.
What's going on there, George?
Oh, I hear some distortion here.
How's your biscuit, buddy?
About 30 over.
What'd you say, George?
Is that my friend Billy?
What?
Hey, what's up?
Who's that?
Mikey.
Hi, Mikey.
Dude, I had a huge tree come down in my yard here.
Oh, crap.
Dude, it broke my beam in half. Well, not half of it's gone. My dipole destroyed. Lawn chairs, chimney got crushed. Yeah, lost a lot of stuff out there.
Oh, damn. Hold on, let me go put my crap back to normal.
But we're gonna have a lot of firewood. You need some? Anybody need firewood? We got firewood. Into MDX. I wonder if Dave got some antennas down.
Yay, yay. N2DTS testing. And then I can turn the modulation up and get 160 over 160%. I could do probably do sideband. Yay, yay. Crazy stuff.
He's testing.
Yeah, it's your turn now, Brett. I'm gonna put my crap back to normal. So, how's that? It should probably sound better, look better. You know, all of the above. So, this is how I normally run my crap. W2BTK on Montana Mountain in beautiful New Jersey.
You sound marvelous.
I'm like 40 over here, Billy.
40 over? How could that be possible? It must be my antenna system.
Yeah, well, just look at the dial.
Anyway.
I go play with my. I'm gonna go turn my power down. I don't need to be 40 over. That's stupid. That's really dumb.
You need to eliminate some of those Legos.
You are 40 over.
He's stacking his new Legos. I'll be right back into MDX.
Okay, Mikey. What the hell is going on out here, by the way? This is silly stuff. W2BTK.
It's sibilance testing.
I don't do sibilance testing. I just run my radio however I want.
What are you doing for a receiver, Billy?
I got an SDR IQ just like you.
Yeah, I don't use that, but yeah, okay. So you're doing the sync detection?
No, the program I use doesn't have synchronous AM, so it's just regular DSP-based, not diode detector, but, you know, it's not synchronous.
Well, I don't know why you don't download a free program that does that, you know, SDR console or HD SDR, both pretty good. HD SDR's got some, like, really cool, it's got ECSS as well as to pick the sidebands and all that, but, alright, you're listening on a regular detector, and I'm running my normal, for this transmitter, 130% positive, 90% negative modulation. I got 250 watts on the watt meter and a kilowatt PEP. And now I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to have the high level of audio with lower level of carrier. Does that sound distorted?
No. Sounds like pretty normal Brett to me. Wow, it's amazing how much cleaner this crap is when... See, I'm still running the 3 diode setup. It's just I'm not abusing it. It's just acting as a safety measure at this point.
So that goes to show you didn't hear any difference between like 180% positive modulation and maybe 120. Now I'm at 100% positive modulation. I got 300 watts of carrier. So, you know, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Alright, so I got a little over 350 watts of carrier. I got 100% each way, just about. So, you know, this is what this sounds like. You look at the meter and see what it sounds like. And if I run 250 watts carrier and 130%, you hear any difference between those two settings?
Well, when you increased your power, you got a little bit louder.
It was a lot better.
Yeah, but I had less modulation, so that goes to show you that having a lot of peak modulation isn't necessarily, turn it back up, isn't necessarily like all that beneficial. I mean, you want to have 100% at least, but, you know, getting more carrier and letting the modulation be, you know, somewhere around 100% works pretty good.
That's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Looks to be almost exactly 100% modulated. Every once in a while on certain syllables it'll peak up over, you know, maybe 110% positive, but I try to keep my negative modulation right at like 99%. That's the important thing to me. But yeah, right now I'm running about 100% modulated, maybe 110, 115 on the real extreme peaks. So this is where I normally run it all the time. But I figured I would just go crazy before and you know, run closer to 300% just to see what it looked like on the spectrum there. I was curious.
Yes, it's all about experimentation. Yeah, I know one of the guys on here that knows his stuff is Nick Yard. I think he typically runs. He runs like I don't know, like 80% modulation or something. He limits it, which I think is leaving a little something on the table, but it does. He always sounds like really clean, so you know. But you sound really, really good that way. I think, yeah, when you crank it up. Now, it's pretty amazing that when you really crank the crap out of it, that it doesn't sound as bad as it should. So, You know, that's pretty interesting. That, yeah, like if you ever listen to like the CB guys, when you were like hammering it at the worst, you didn't sound anywhere near as bad as those guys.
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell people. It's not that bad, but if you use that Keep Alive circuit, then yeah, it can get that bad. It's just inferior, in my opinion. But you got to have real fast diodes, and you learned that lesson. And you can do it. You can run all kinds of crazy modulation, and it's still, you know, you'll sound just fine, you know. So that was literally, you know, no bandwidth filtering, close to 300% modulation. And, well, you heard how it sounded. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was not. It's not that bad. So, do you know what the difference is between the diodes you're using and, say, like a normal power supply diode as far as the speed goes? Did you ever research that?
I left a little space there. I heard somebody double with you, but you flattened them. I didn't hear the other person. But as far as like reading off a spec to you, no. I don't exactly know how much faster, but just in general terms, you know, those power supply diodes are real slow compared to like a Schottky diode, which is what I use, you know. Seriously, you just go on Mouser and look at Schottky diodes. They make them, it looks like a little final, like a CB radio final, but with only two legs. It's in like a TO220 case, I think you call that. And there's two leads on it, and they're rated for 1 kilovolt. I think they have some like 1.2 kilovolt, and I just put like 8 of those in series, and that's each diode. So there's 3 sets of 8 in series representing the 3 diodes in the circuit, and that's it. And they're cheap. I mean, you know, I've got them all on Mouser for a few bucks.
Yeah, there may be somebody wanting to get in. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Now, one thing I'm wondering about, like when you series them, I wonder if the time increases, or if they all like conduct at once, or does like one conduct and then the next one and then the next one, and then as far as the time goes, I guess if you limited the high frequency stuff going into it, then it wouldn't have problems controlling it, you know, if you get the drift. But alright, I'll see if somebody else wants to jump in. I did see another signal when you were having your massive 40 over signal come in as well, and you wiped them out as well. W2BTK, DTS, standing by.
Hang on a sec, Brett. I got a phone call.
I hear somebody in there, but you're getting torn up by the person up the band.
They're getting swallowed up by the buckshot.
I don't know if it's actual buckshot. It's just, you know, high frequency stuff shoved out there.
That's pretty much buckshot. Whatever. It's all good. You're getting over it just fine, Brett. We could slide down to 3873 if you want, but there's no need, unless somebody else wants to join the QSO, who's a little bit lower.
I don't know if you copied that, did you?
I heard it that time.
Oh, you did? I say on the Schottky, they're all in series from one that they all conduct. And the forward drop is the sum of all of them, about 4/10 of a volt each. Did you copy?
Okay, I'll move down. You're on 3874. I'll move down. I might move down to 73. I'm down on 73. Okay. Now, did you say that it's the sum of all of them, or they all conduct at once?
They all conduct at once. but the sum of the forward voltage drop, which is 0.6 of a volt with silicon, is closer to 0.4 of a volt with Schottky. So you multiply 8 times 4, 32 volts, and you've got to overcome. That's where you start with doing your business. So if you put a scope on it, you'll see that with the 32 volt drop, and then everything starts conducting.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing. I know about the voltage drop because all diodes are pretty much like that. You know, they're cumulative, and I use those for bias. You know, when I want to, bias like a zero bias triode, run at higher voltage, and put regular diodes in series, and to get the 6 volt drop through each diode. And then I have a knob. I can select the number of diodes to get the bias. But as far as the time goes, you would figure like, okay, you put voltage across a string of diodes. So the string of diodes, like one diode gets the voltage across it, and then there's like a 1 nanosecond, and then it conducts, and then the voltage gets to the next diode, and then there's a nanosecond, and it conducts, and then the voltage gets to the diode after that, and there's a nanosecond, and so on. So if you have 8 diodes in series, I would think that you would have 8 times the delay. How is it possible that when you put voltage across the first diode, they all conduct at the same time, even though, like, for example, if you want to stretch it out into what the human mind can grasp, and you say, okay, it takes 10 seconds for that first diode to actually pass voltage to the next one, and then the next diode gets the voltage, and it takes 10 seconds. I don't see how they would all do 1 10-second and all be working when they're in series.
Think of it in terms of current rather than voltage. You have to have a threshold tube. The speed is the capacity or capacitance of the diode. Put in series the capacitance. So look at it in terms of a certain voltage threshold, it will start flowing current. But it's not going to be a lot of difference. A world of difference in just ordinary silicon, that's for sure.
Okay, yeah, you're not real strong here. You're into the static crashes and everything. What's the call, the name?
N3BMI, name's Al.
N3BMI, Baker Micro, India?
Amateur radio. Go ahead, Bill.
Nope. Not as far as softening PVC. I think that...
Yeah, that's the only time I've really done it. So it's a whole new experience for me.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to AM. We're having some fun on 80 meters here with technical discussions with Billy, W2BTK. We're doing the 3-diode negative cycle loading, which sort of allows you to put a whole lot of audio on the carrier on an old-fashioned plate modulated transmitter by using a series. Well, there's different ways to finesse it, but you can kind of decouple the RF section on the negative waveform where you would normally shut down the carrier and substitute a fixed power supply voltage, like maybe 200 volts, 100 volts, to keep the carrier on. And you do that through a poorly regulated supply so it doesn't look like a square wave. And then you can put more audio power onto the carrier, and instead of, say, doubling the plate voltage, if you're running an amplifier a final Class C amplifier, and it's running 1,000 volts. And normally you would double that to 2,000 volts and get 4 times the power. You can put, instead of doubling it to 2,000 volts, you can put 2,500 or 3,000 volts on it and get more positive modulation, more peak power. There's the old way of doing it where, now they can do it. They basically use a sideband rig with, 4 carrier suppression and do the same thing, but in this case it was, for old plate modulated AM transmitters. And we're talking about the characteristics of those diodes, and it's interesting you say the capacitance, and yeah, I guess that would be a critical thing for speed, and the power supply diodes will work okay, but I suspect things go awry when you start talking about high frequency audio going into them, where you got, 15 kilohertz audio waveform going into the diodes, and they may not function correctly or may do weird things or who knows what, but I had problems with it, and I didn't really think it brought anything to the party, so I don't do it anymore. Welcome to AM, Al. You got guys who, kind of into that sort of thing. Cool stuff, and vintage stuff, and modern stuff, and fidelity. There's a lot of musicians on AM, a lot of audio engineers, broadcast engineers, tend to gravitate towards the mode, and experimenters a little bit. Vintage stuff. The station here is homebrew receiver, using tubes, homebrew screen modulated transmitter, homebrew antenna, so that's the kind of stuff we're into, so you should join us more often. It's not always as much of a zoo here as it is sometimes, but it depends. So it's November 2, Baker, Nancy, India, Al, in Maryland. And my handle is Brent Miller, Romeo Echo Tango Tango. November 2, Delta Tango Sierra. I'm located in southern New Jersey, not too far from Philadelphia. Running 300 watts carrier, about a kilowatt PEP into a fan dipole up about 40 feet. So I have a coax. No antenna tuna. No tuna fish here. N3BNI from N2DTS.
Good evening to all of you.
K4 KKJ.
I'm getting a lot of static questions. Can you do me a favor and tell me, with my audio? I know that's a bad question given the information, but since I've never worked AM, I was sure how intelligible it is.
Oh, I think it sounds pretty good. It actually sounds pretty good. It could be a little more, cut through the noise.
Hello, George, and hello, KKJ. Just stand by a moment.
Pleasant and all, and with better conditions, which you get into the winter conditions, and there's not as much static, and there's not as much interference. It would be really nice. There's professional broadcasters that float around, so some people would tend to be critical. But I think it's fine. It sounds clean and all. We got George in there. I heard George. I've been kind of letting him make a transmission there. WB2HJK. George in Queens. Oh, we don't want to leave him out. I think there was somebody else in there, and I don't know if Billy's going to come back. He's on the phone. But no, it sounds good there, Al. And you should, the top of 40 meters also is very popular. 7290, a lot of guys do AM there. So stop by and chat when you feel the urge to do a little quality AM. N3BNI from N2DTS with WB2HJK in there as well.
Well, thank you very much for your reference. It's a ICOM 7300, and it's excellent thing, and the audio is very good on it, generically, I guess, and now I know what you mean. Thank you very much. This is M3BNY 73.
Yeah, 7300s, I had a couple of them. They're pretty good. The receivers, they cut the audio off like around 200 hertz, so you don't get the full fidelity, but they work pretty good, and they're one of the best ICOMs on transmit. Okay, Al, well, don't hesitate to switch over to AM, because that thing works pretty good on that. Hey George, what's up in New York?
I think there's
Pretty rough stuff with the all that quarantine stuff up there, eh?
something of this good selection.
Look, I couldn't copy too well, Brett. Nothing to do with you. I seem to have another QSO in the background. Am I right about that, Brett?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Well, nothing much here. I just changed some stuff antenna-wise. Renewed the wires, put a ladder line up, stuff like that. That summertime is all about. And of course, nothing else here. But the other half rang the bell, so I have to attend. And meanwhile, good to hear all of you. Thank you, Billy. Billy, try to stay on the planet here with your power. My God. Okay, well, congratulations. You sound great. And with all that, I'll just say 73. Good night, all. Brett, over to you. Good night, all. And if Mikey comes back, say hello. Otherwise, catch you guys when, everything permits. Go ahead, Brett. Good night, all.
Now, wait a minute. You put a ladder line up? You got a balanced tuner?
Oh, no. So really, 2-to-1, what do you call it, forgot to call, who made the damn balance for years. So I decided to put a ladder line on the loop. Not now, not this antenna. This one is an end fed. I'm working on the Isotron, by the way. I modified the Isotron greatly. I'll get into that another time. But the ladder line is going for only a few feet of ladder line into a balance made for loop, at least impedance-wise anyway. Go ahead, Brett.
Okay. Well, you're 10 over down here, but man, the static crashes are really, I don't know when the storm is supposed to get here or where it is, but they're starting to really hammer in. But it's good to hear you on there, George. Sorry I kind of old buzzard and didn't let you in more earlier, but you had like an interesting technical discussion, a kind of rare thing, but all right, good to hear you on there. Good you made it through all the corona so far, and good luck up there. I think things are a lot better now than they were, but all right, 73 is N2DTS listening on frequency.
Thank you for the good wishes, guy. And all of you stay well. And talk to you guys soon. Propagation and, of course, the other half of it.
What do you mean I gotta stay on the planet?
Okay, take care. Good night.
See you later, George. W2BTK.
Yeah, but which planet?
Uranus, obviously.
Kilo 4, Kilo Japan.
Hey, K4, KKJ, I heard you in there before. Glad you stuck around. You got a good signal here in New Jersey.
Yes, and so do you. I'm in western North Carolina. The name is Ken.
Well, hey, Ken. Just been chewing the rag there, as they say, with Brett there, N2DTS. He's down in South Jersey. I'm up here in North Jersey, like on the NJPA border. And yeah, good signal there. Brett, how are you hearing? Oh crap! You just told me your name. It slipped my mind. You gotta excuse me. I'm drinking a little bit of wine here. I'm about 2 glasses in, so my mind's going whoop 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 whoop.
Yeah, I hear Ken pretty good. Good evening.
Good evening, Brett. Yeah, you're just a little lighter than the other gentleman, but still good signal. Both you guys sound good.
Okay, I'm kind of curious as to what you're running for a station there, Ken. It sounds real nice. You got plenty of low end in there. You got the kind of radio announcer. On a low-end voice in there that sounds so pleasant. I wonder what you're running down there that's passing all that melodious audio.
Well, I actually patented the thing. I call it luscious audio. That's what somebody told me here a while back, and I'm like, okay, I'll just go with luscious audio. But I am on a Anon 7000. And I'm running it into a little amplifier doing about 300 watts carrier and probably right at legal limit.
Okay, that's roughly about what I'm doing. Not quite the peak power, but about 300 watts carrier and a little over 100% positive. Yeah, they're nice radios. I had a couple of. I had the little one, which I think I started out with. It was I think it was a 10 watt version. It was kind of cool and kind of cute, and made a great receiver. And then I got the bigger one. I forget what it was, but it was 100 watt, the blue case with all the three. There's like 3 antenna connections on the back and a whole crap load of other stuff, and that was really nice too. I really like the Anons. I don't know why I got rid of that. I don't have a big amplifier, so I basically just use them for receivers or barefoot, which isn't really effective on AM, but they're nice radios. Very nice. I don't know why they don't make more stuff. Like they should make a receiver or QRP. Another version of it. That's like the 10 watt. You could use it as an exciter or a 20 watt radio for a little less money, because those things they're pretty up there. But sounds wonderful. 84 KKJ. Ken in North Carolina. How'd you make out in the storm there, Ken?
Well, I'm still hearing it going on in the bay. It passed over us a little while ago, and I can still hear the thunder way off. Man, we've had them every night. I mean, it's nonstop. For the past 2 weeks, it's rained every afternoon and sometimes almost through the night.
Oh, you got another one. Well, I was talking about the big one that came through, but yeah, I think it rained. It rained last night. I think it's supposed to rain tonight. They talk about more flooding. So yeah, it's kind of a wet season here. Late summer is. I think last summer was very wet. And I'm just wondering whether we're going to get another hurricane come. It's just starting, I think, to be hurricane season, and I just surprised that we haven't had a Category 5 hurricane slam into somewhere on the East Coast full bore and kind of hang out. I mean, talk about destruction. I went down to New Orleans after Katrina to do infrastructure work for my company, and man, it's like it's really amazing how much power those storms have.
Yes, it is. They can water and wind can do things. It's hard to believe what destruction it leaves behind. So, southern Jersey and northern Jersey. So, how much difference the miles are in between you guys?
Probably, 70, 80 miles or so. I think Brett's down there in Voorhees. I know exactly where that is. I think it's about 70 miles.
100 miles. It's kind of long that way. It's not wide so much. I'm more over towards the east side. I mean the west side. But South Jersey, I think, is a lot like a lot of areas in North and South Carolina along the shore where it's, scrub pines and sand. So, and we have a lot of the same crops. They grow cranberries, blueberries, peaches, kind of stuff. And we have a crap load of pine trees and sand.
Yeah. I bet that we probably have a few more rednecks than what you guys do. Brett is your name. What's the other guy's name?
BTK, Billy. He's up in northern New Jersey, the crappy part. Well, northwestern New Jersey is really nice.
It is.
All right, Billy, what are you running?
Well, the transmitter du jour is a Johnson Viking 2, which I'm externally modulating with a solid-state Class H audio amplifier, custom Toyota mod transformer, and some interesting circuitry going on there as far as the modulator, but more or less a stock Johnson Viking 2. Earlier today, I was on the air with a Roden Schwartz vector signal generator that I was using as an exciter, and that's the same deal as your Anon. It's quadrature modulation, and I kind of switch back and forth between the two, but right now what you're hearing is the 1950s boat anchor.
And a big amp.
What?
And a big amp.
Wait, what?
He said you have a big, I think he said amp. I don't think he said ass, but maybe he did.
Yeah, no, I've got a YC156 for a final, on the output of this Viking 2, and it's an IMAC tube. It's like, I guess not a lot of people are familiar with like the YC nomenclature, but it was an MRI tube. It's a big old tube. It's got handles. It's a tube with handles. So basically what it is a they took a 3CX 5000 anode and shoved the guts of a 3CX 15000 inside of it and called it a YC156, and that's what I'm running. About turned down, I mean the grid meter isn't even moving right now. I'm running about 300 watts of carrier, similar to you, probably about legal limit peaks or so, maybe not quite there, but that's what's in line after the Viking 2 there, and it works pretty well.
What's the voltage on that tube?
No, it runs a 6,000 volts when I'm transmitting, and when I'm not transmitting, it cuts back to 3,000 just to save on, power consumption. But I can run it at 3,000, but honestly, it's not happy there. There's more grid current, just less happiness overall for the tube. So 6,000 volts. It's got 2-plate transformers with series primary, parallel secondary, and it's two they're plate transformers out of T368 military transmitter, 2 of them. So the series primary gets broken, so it floats there at 3,000, and when I stomp the foot pedal there, it flies up to 6,000.
Yeah, sounds cool. That's a triode, huh?
It is, and it has it's got a lot of gain. I mean, it's not typical of most triodes. You know, you don't need much drive power to get this thing to stand right up. So it's a really cool tube. You should pull up the data sheet. I mean, you know, you'll probably go, whoa. I'm surprised, you know, more people don't run these, because it's laughing at me right now. It just loafs and loafs and loafs, you know.
Yeah, I guess iMac is out of business. Are they totally out of business?
I don't think so. I don't know. I really don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look that up. I would like to try like a 4CX 5000 tube and screen modulate it. That sounds like it would be pretty fun to do. Because like this transmitter's got 3 4X 150s in it. That's 750 watts of plate dissipation out of 3 tubes. And the screens drive pretty easy. The modulator's just a 6L6 cathode follower, so that's not doing much. But you know, if I had a lot more plate dissipation with the same sensitivity, that would be pretty cool to play with.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun with it. It's a good setup. It's been around for a long time. Dave, W2VW, built this amp in the 90s, and it was a 20-meter monobander up until recently. And now it has a band switch, so we're good from 160 up to 10. And then, you know, it's nice because putting together like a huge plate modulated setup, right? If you do, you know, like push-pull or something, like, yeah, you have the ability to be good from 160 through 10. If you parallel your tubes, not so much. But the thing about it is, like, I can get on slot bucket, I can do all kinds of different modes and still have, you know, a big old signal on any band. So it's the one thing, you know, the linear amplifier isn't nearly as efficient, but what mode, what frequency, what time, you know, I'll be there with a signal.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. If you got the power and you don't mind the heat, and you got the tube, why not? That's pretty much the same thing as screen modulation. You know, you get the same efficiency with an amplifier as you do with a screen modulator, so it's really it's not a lot of difference. Just depending on how you do it. And with an amplifier like that, you know, you hook an SDR into it, and you have all that same capability with, you know, fantastic fidelity and the ability to, you know, set the bandwidth to whatever you want, to EQ the audio, you know, it just has and you get a receiver thrown in with it, so, you know, it's a pretty good way to go. I kind of was looking at those RF Kits amplifiers. They're pretty adequate also, but I stick with what I'm using. And I got the DIY rig, which is ridiculously efficient. So anyway, static crashes were really going crazy. I don't know. They were giving Ken a run for his money. You don't want to leave Ken out. K4, KKJ, and a group from NTDTS.
Bueller?
Oh, maybe he threw in the towel.
K4KKJ, are you still out there?
He did say a storm was coming in.
Yeah, he might have packed it up. Well, that sucks. Seemed like a nice guy. He sounded really good. Big ass signal from North Carolina up here. So, he's doing something cool.
Well, you know, the Anons just, they put out what you put into them. He has a good radio voice. You know, it's one of those voices that's pleasant to listen to when you have a nice full fidelity transmitter and in good band conditions, which is. I wonder where the storm is. I got an app on my phone, but I don't have my phone with me down here. So I don't know. I don't know if it's tonight or tomorrow we're supposed to have a storm. He's having a storm. Do you have any damage in the last storm there, Billy?
No, just some small branches that snapped off. You know, nothing even that big. Debris in the road. The power stayed on the whole time. But I lost power a little bit earlier for about 5 minutes. That was it. You know, knock on wood. But yeah, very little damage here. Well, that is to say, no damage here. The antenna stayed up. Everything is just fine.
That's kind of funny how that works, you know, like some people get all kinds of damage and others really, like my neighborhood had a lot of crap in the street and a lot of people had branches down. We had the trees trimmed and some removed, well that was last year or so. We didn't have anything. My antenna, I just put a new antenna up and it didn't have any problems. I kind of loosened it up a little bit, but I think it actually worked better after the storm. Maybe it stretched it or something. Yeah, it actually worked a little bit better. I still had to trim it a little bit though, I think. But you know, some places had a lot of damage, and I picked up I think I have 4 trash cans full of chopped up stuff I put out. And the power was out for 4 hours, which that's not too bad. And I attribute that to the fact that about 3 weeks ago, I decided it would be a good idea to get a generator. So I went to Harbor Freight, you know, I was in work and I passed by one. And they had like a 6,000 watt generator for $300. That's like surge though, I think, or you know, whatever. It's like 5,000 watt average and all that, and it was $300. I said, yeah, I might throw one of those in the garage, and I took it home and I tested it and it worked fine, and then I drained the carb, and I figure I got the generator, now the power will stay on. It will never go off now until the generator breaks or something, and then the power will go off in a storm.
Yeah, what is that? Murphy's Law, I guess. Well, does that apply? I don't know. But yeah, you bought a generator so the power went out. Harbor Freight has some interesting stuff. They have a 2-stroke generator that apparently is pretty good. My buddy picked one up and he was like, who the hell would want to mix their gas and oil and like do all that crap? But like he loves it. The little thing does pretty well. I've got like one of those 1,500 watt Generac, you know, Home Depot special generators, you know, the black and orange one that everybody has. I've got one of those, and you know, I don't have anything set up like a transfer switch or any of that. I just figure when the power goes out for long enough that I need to use that thing, I'll just go down to my panel and you know, slap a breaker in there. I have the nice Square D QO snap-in panel, so I'll just snap like a 30 amp 2-pole in there, shut off some crap, land a wire, chuck it out the basement window, and just hook it up when the time comes, you know, with by candlelight or flashlight or whatever. But I'm pretty lax with that. I do have you know, some gas in store here. We've got the high test stuff with some fuel stabilizer in it, enough of that to give me at least a few days of generator. But you know, I'm blessed over here. My neighbor behind me has like he had a business in the 70s. He's got commercial 3-phase power. So the heavy line that comes up the mountain basically comes up to him, and I'm the last house before it hits him. So I have my own transformer that's tapped off of that heavy, service where you've got all 3 legs, and then right after his property, they just take one leg of that and run it out and hit the slew of houses down the other side of the mountain, and none of them have power right now. But me and my neighbor are up and running. Like I said, I lost power for about 5 minutes today. I reported it to JCP&L, and basically by the time I was done sending the text message, it was back on. So it seems to be working out pretty well like that. I'm not on some little tiny crappy branch. I'm on like a main trunk, so it works out. Especially being as rural as I am, that's pretty lucky. So we've got the elevation, we've got the heavy power, and we're doing a ham radio. W2BTK.
Yeah, sounds like a good setup. Well, I'm firmly ensconced in suburbia, and I did come around and trim all the trees, and that was effective. But we do lose power fairly often. So 4 hours is like nothing. I was at work, so I didn't care. And as long as you don't open the fridge or the freezer, they'll stay through for way longer than that. So I didn't even bother with the generator. It's got to be off for maybe 8 hours. I'll start maybe hooking things up, and I probably just run like 2 extension cords in the house and run the freezer, the fridge, and a couple lamps, and I could do the TV. I should put an antenna up on the roof. We used to have one, and get over the air broadcast HD. It's actually got a better picture. You could get, you could watch the local channels. There's like 50 of them. I don't know if the internet would work. You can fire up the router. That doesn't take anything. So, or you turn your phone into a hotspot. I could do either one of those. But, I thought about doing a little lazy, like maybe getting a 220 hookup and like plugging it in where the dryer is plugged in or something, and then turning all the breakers off, turn the main breaker off, turn the, the things that you didn't want to put power to, and just have like, certain rooms or something. But probably the easiest is just to run an extension cord in, or 2, and power a few things up that we want to run. And then I guess if power is going to be out for a while, I'd probably get like a window unit for the bedroom air conditioner, like a 5,000 to take the humidity out in the summertime. But now that we got the generator, I probably won't have a problem with the power going out for long enough to actually start it up. So now it'll just take up space in my garage. N2DTS with W2BTK.
Oh, yeah, man. Wow, it's nice and quiet now. You see that? Oops, never mind.
I still got the static crashes, the lightning crashes, but they're not as loud. For a while there, they were really going nuts. So whether they skip in and the skip went longer or something, but it's not as bad now.
When I first got on, Timmy was on, and I could barely hear him. Barely hear who he was talking to. Like the signals were way down. At least now, like the signals are strong, But I do have some pretty crappy lightning crashes up here at the moment. Not as bad as like they've been, but still like enough to be kind of fatiguing on the ears, you know. I don't know, let's see. I haven't been at it very long, only about, I don't know, 2.5 hours or something I've been on. But I'm kind of thinking like maybe I'm going to pack it in pretty soon, you know. Just listening to all this crap and static and crashes and everything, it's very fatiguing, you know.
Yeah, it can be. Because normally less of that on 40 meters. 40 meters is pretty good. A lot of times at night, you know, I'll be talking to the guys down in Georgia and such, and way more west, and they're strapping in, and it's pretty quiet, you know. And there's no once the shortwave broadcast goes on, the whole top of the band often is empty, and they have some nice QSOs on there too. If you ever do 40 meters, I think I heard you on there, but you know, Ben's on there, and Joe, N4RXV, he's a fixture. Usual suspects, and 40 meters is pretty good because the antenna is a little bit smaller. Stops in. Ryan N3 TBW, he's on there. I think he comes on 80 meters too, but and some of the other guys. So 40 meters is pretty cool, but yeah, I've been on long enough. Yeah, I got a good book I'm reading, so I'll check out that in the TV, and we'll talk to you later there, Billy. So it's been kind of fun on here playing, running amok with excessive modulation and so on. W2 BTK NTDTS. Listen out.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I should get on 40 meters more often. It'd be fun. I haven't done it in a while, but now that I have a rig that's like really, really easy to, you know, change frequencies and stuff, I should. I don't really have much excuse, except my antenna tuner's a pain in the ass, but I do all that to myself. Anyway, yeah, it has been fun, Brett. Got to really get pretty belligerent with the modulation and just, you know, letting it all hang out, as they say. It was a fun experiment, very fun experiment. So you've had a great signal the whole time, you know. So it's just nice to talk to somebody who's coming in well, you know, despite all this crappy static and lightning and this and that and the other thing. But all right, man. Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit toasty in here. Once I've been on for a couple hours, I've got a giant blower on the amp, and it just dumps into the room behind me. So once that room starts to heat up a little bit, it kind of creeps out here. And you know, I gotta open that door and let some of that air out. But the reason I don't do that is because it's noisy, you know. So I do that within about 10-15 minutes. It totally cools down in here. But there's just no airflow into that room right now, so it's starting to get a little uncomfortable. So I'm gonna go see what else is happening on a Thursday night. I ate my pizza, so we'll go fart around a little bit. I think I'm just gonna hang out and talk to my Twitch chat for a few minutes, and we'll see what happens. So N2DTS. Playing with that screen modulated rig. It's W2 BTK on the Johnson Viking 2 tonight. Saying 7-3. Thanks for the QSO, Brett.
Okay, you're gonna love that in the wintertime when it gets real cold and it's all snowy out there. And you're warming the place up with that an amplifier. That's going to be real nice. 73's Billy, enter DTS, clear with the frequency.
I don't know what this thing is doing.
Oh, hey, Daryl. Oh, I'll say hello to you before I shut this crap off, man. It's doing its thing, is what it's doing.
Well, I hear that, Billy. All right, then. No problem. Yeah, I'm going to shut it down, too, because, I fell asleep, man. I just woke up, man, like, whoa. You know those hard days, man. Especially out there at the airport, Billy. But, tomorrow's Friday, and you know what they always say, Friday is for the men. But I always say, every day is for me, because I could retire any day now. All right, then. This is KD2 AFL. I'm going to listen for a couple of minutes, and I'm going to shut it down.
Yeah, all right, Daryl. Oh, I know Friday's for the men, but every day's for Daryl. If you want him to stick around, he'll just retire tomorrow if he doesn't like it. All right, man, I'm out of here. It's getting hot in here. I'm gonna shut this mess down. KD2 AFL W2BTK. Well, now, what are you saying there, Nick? It's a homemade one you fabric cobbled at the shop. Oh, it's a big ass Cummins 12 valve with 180 horsepower and a 1,400 pound flywheel. A big 3-phase generator. It's a mess, but it's all pre-emissions. Oh, nice. And it smokes like hell under load. Hey, if it don't smoke, it don't run. That's what they say. That's badass. That's the kind of thing you need to run your ham station, man. It's nice running the Viking 2 tonight. Believe it or not, this thing, it's freaking noisy, man. It's got a couple fans in it, and they got a little bit of a noise floor to them. I noticed when I switched over to the Viking 2, it was like pleasant. It was like, all the noise went away in here. Nowhere near the amount of fan noise that I got in the room behind me, but still, it's doing well though. This damn thing, it sure is a lot of fun. Yeah, the band is just a little bit dead tonight. I mean, look, there's no signals right now. No signals on the band. So, I don't know where the hell Clark is. Clark is kind of MIA. I think he just watches Urbex videos now. Nick, I have 12 to 15 volt transformer that I don't need. Am I interested? Maybe. I mean, that'd be a nice little, depends what kind of amperage it's rated for. This and that. I mean, if you're gonna scrap it or something, I would take it. See, it'd be a little filament transformer for something. I don't know. Although that's a little bit high, but you could do something with that. I don't know. If you don't want to have it kicking around, you could add it to the pile over here. I got a pretty good parts pile, a little junk box. Actually, my junk box consists of an entire room of my house. But you'd be surprised, man. Like, someday you're going to need like 15 volts or something and be like, damn, I shouldn't have gotten rid of that thing. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're just gonna throw it away, I'll take it. I don't really have a use for it, but I just put it in my junk box, you know. Hey, if you need it back for something, it'll be here. I know what it's like living with your parents too. You can't really have a lot of crap like that, but now that I have my own house, you know, I could fill it with as much junk as I want. I've got a nice plate transformer in the other room. It's not being used right now. It's got a, what does it have? A 3200 volt tap and a 4000 volt tap. I think it's an amp and a half. Secondary is rated for, you know, 240 volt primary. That is not bad piece of plate iron. Just sitting around in there. Goddamn thing is so heavy I can barely move it by myself. I can lift it about, you know, 2-3 inches off the ground with both hands like this, and I kind of like hobble it around. But it gets a little gnarly. I don't think I could go up a flight of stairs with it. That would be that'd be a little fucked up. A few things. They don't all work when I'm told to either find a use for it or it goes out in the trash next week. Well, hey man, yeah, I'll take castaway crap. I hate to see stuff go in the garbage, you know. If you want to start having a junk box, I don't know how close you are to getting your own place. I know you're pretty young. I wasn't able to get my own place until well, kind of recently, a couple of years ago, but it's nice to have a junk box, man, especially when you start building stuff. Like, you know, Tommy's going to be wishing he had a good junk box pretty soon. I know it. He's getting into the boat anchors and all that crap. You know, it's all about the junk box, dude, or else, you know, what are you going to do? Buy everything all the time? Oh, that's Daryl. He's throwing a fat carrier around 38. Yeah, caps and ICs are good. Good place to start. You know, it's when I used to do CB crap, that was mostly what I had, just like little passive components and this and that. Build little tinkery circuits, work on radios and stuff. Then I started with the boat anchor crap and the tube crap, and all the parts just got bigger and bigger. And now most of the caps that I have are rated for a couple thousand volts. You know, those are good to have. He's testing the hell out of that thing. Letting it warm up. Letting it warm up. Daryl's cool, man. I used to talk to Daryl on the CB before he even had his ham license, and I think I had my technician ticket, but I didn't do anything with it. And I used to talk to him on channel 11 on the CB, man, and he had such a strong freaking signal, man. He could key on anybody. He was like the king. 2 6s, 2 9s. It was his CB handle, man. That was, oh God, he was a bad man out on CB. And then all of a sudden, one day, I hear him, you know, key up like, hey, what's up? It's KD2AFL. I was like, wait a minute, dude. Like, I know that voice. Oh, it's so funny. The non-functional one is a HP 620 pound, what? Oh, non-functional DC power supply rack mount. Okay. Yeah, dude, like those power supplies have tons of good parts in there, man, and I'm sure it's something stupid is the reason why it's not working. But I guarantee you there's some nice capacitors in there. all kinds of crap, depending on what kind of power supply it is. But it's probably one of those variable jobs, right? I don't know. But that's where it's at. I have a whole room filled with crap like that. Old rack mount TV transmitter parts, like this and that and the other thing. Like all the switching and control stuff that I have going on here, I didn't have to buy any of that crap because I'd pull relays and stuff out of old, junk boxes and crap that I had laying around and this and that. And it's just like when you're trying to build something and do something and you have like a badass junk box parts pile, it just makes it awesome. It's cool to have a place to keep all that stuff. So yeah, whatever you want to offload, Nick, I'll throw it in my junk box. And if you ever need any of it back, if you're working on a project, you say, hey, you remember that power supply from a year ago I gave you or whatever? It's like, oh yeah, you want to rip some parts out of it? Come on over, rip some parts out of it. Unless I rip the parts out first. But so just go ahead, throw it on the junk pile, man. A lot of people don't understand that. They're like, what? You have a whole room in your house filled with like old junk that doesn't work? Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, throw it all away. It's like, what? Are you crazy? But not everybody like builds their own crap all the time and works on this stuff. It's just, oh honey, the toaster's broken, we better get a newer, better one, or replace toaster with like X appliance, whatever. I don't know. I don't need to explain myself. I've got a badass junk box. You should see Dave's junk box, man. He's been offloading crap onto me. He's like, like the stuff he was gonna throw away. He's just got so much of it. He's like, oh, I can't throw this crap away. Like, yo, BTK. He drives it up here. Like he's filled his Suburban like twice now with junk box stuff and drove it up here. And I've got it now, and I've been using it, man. It's come in handy all the time. So he's the man for that. But it's just like, I guess when you've been doing it as long as Dave, you have so much good crap. It's like some of it has to go. But I'm just getting started in all this madness. Yep. I didn't have to work today. The power's out at the job site, so they told us to stay home. Nobody can get in any of the buildings. It's not safe, so they didn't want us there working. Hopefully I'll be back to work Monday. I have a feeling the power should be back on by then, but if it's not, that would suck. But anyway, guys, Nick, sounds like you got some good stuff. Feel free to throw it on the junk pile. If you ever need any of it, you know where it is, and your parents won't be on your ass about it. A broken Astron power supply, that's definitely got some good parts in it. How many of them are burnt up? Not sure, but or maybe we can fix that damn thing. Sell it on eBay or something. Who knows? But that's totally cool, Nick. If you wanna throw some crap on the parts pile here, we'll throw it on the parts pile. You're welcome to it. Tommy, freaking doing awesome with your HT40. Glad to see you've been making a lot of progress with that. If you need help tuning it or anything, I don't know if you found. There's probably manuals and tuning procedures online and everything. That's what I did with this Viking 2. I just literally followed the tuning procedure step by step from the 1950s manual, and it worked like a charm. Other than that, guys, I guess I'm going to shut it down and hope that tomorrow night, Friday night, get some interesting folks on the air to bullshit with. Maybe Clark will get on. That would be pretty cool. But I have a feeling ever since I did all that like Perry sucks stuff in the waterfall, he's been a little bit discouraged about getting on the air. He doesn't like confrontation, so he might be scared to talk to me because I'm a bad person. But I'm gonna give him a call tomorrow and see what the deal is. I didn't call him today, like I said I was gonna, but it's all good. So those of you hanging out, thanks for hanging out. Nick with the gift subs and all that stuff, man, that's really appreciated. Thanks for loving the channel. I love doing this stuff. And yeah, Clark. He doesn't care about that. Like he's like, oh yeah, like they're chanting Clark. He thinks it's a joke, but he doesn't realize he's actually got fans on Twitch, you know, like legitimately. We need to get him on here so he can see what the deal is. But anyway, guys, thanks for having fun with me tonight with some ham radio crap. And, you know, we'll do this again tomorrow night. Same bat time, same bat channel. And hopefully we'll have better conditions and some more interesting banter. So until then, I guess I'll see y'all later. If you know anybody who's interested in ham radio or who you think would be interested in ham radio and they just don't know where to start, maybe show them the stream. You could get a feel for it, see some people having fun doing it. That's what this is all about, you know. It's we can get as technical as you want. If you're there and you want to have technical conversations, I'm totally game. But other than that, it's just having fun using ham radios. And I guess I'll also mention the Discord. I mean, all of you guys who are still hanging out in the chat, I think, are already in the Discord. But if you want to hang out and chat and ask questions after the stream or when I'm not online, there's the Discord. You find a link at the bottom there. And dude, I should make an account for Clark. Just be like, here, look, like, here's the password. Just log in. Go talk to your fans, you know? It's kind of rude. He doesn't do that, but whatever. His internet sucks or something, or he uses his iPhone and he claims that the link doesn't work. It's all bullshit. I don't know. I'm going to give him a call tomorrow. I'm going to have a phone conversation with Clark there and find out what the deal is, but anyway, guys, I'm going to shut down this stream. Sorry for the little bit shorter stream, although I think we did like almost 3 hours tonight. It's not so bad considering the band sucks ass. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Oh, you know what? Let me check for anybody that might be good to raid. Maybe Steve's on or something. Let's see. Just the usual suspects. It's like Scarlet and stuff. I guess I don't have too many people in here. I'm just gonna shut the stream, and hopefully tomorrow we'll have a banger tomorrow, right? So, peace out, guys. Thanks for hanging. We'll see you tomorrow.